Hey guys, welcome back to Girl Uncensored. It's your girl Cecily, the pop culture Girl, and I'm back with another video. And I'm back with my nails, y'all. I ain't working at the plant today. Operation Get CC out the plant. So like and subscribe to the channel so we can get me out the plant. I called off yesterday, y'all. They was like, "Oh, Cecily, you got time?" They called me Cece. They like, "Cece, you got time? You called off?" I said, "No, I ain't got no time." They was like, "You want to get an AWOL?" I know. I don't give a damn. Y'all. I'm having a CC day. Self-care, okay? Y'all, if y'all working these jobs and you worrying about points and suspensions and listen, even if your check is short, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Because if you stress yourself out to the point where you can't even work, you're gonna drive yourself crazy and then money not even gonna matter. So please make sure y'all take time out for yourself because the moment y'all up out of there, they replacing you anyway. So apparently Tony Rock, Chris Rock brother, has a podcast. I didn't know he had a podcast. And he interviewed Ari Spears, but 6 months ago. But a clip from the show is just now circulating now. And I'm surprised that nobody jumped on this 6 months ago. But then again, a lot of people, I guess they didn't know that he had a podcast. I don't know. So, Ari Spears basically asked Tony. He always wanted to know how come people like Chris and Eddie never put their brothers on. So Eddie had his brother Charlie Murphy, God rest his soul. Charlie passed away a couple of years ago, and you didn't really see much of Charlie until like the later years. And then, but it was still aside from Eddie. The only time we've ever really seen Eddie and Charlie together was he was in Harlem Nights, but Charlie Murphy ended up making a name for himself on his own, and Charlie was very, very funny. And then you have Chris Rock. And a lot of us didn't know that he had a famous brother or a brother that's in the business until the show All of Us. So, Aries wanted to know, how does Tony feel about having a famous, successful brother, but not really pretty much giving him opportunities. And so, they talked about it. And Tony admitted, like, it hurts. He admitted that. He said there was one time where I forgot what movie it was. Was it The Longest Yard? It may have been The Longest Yard. And he said he prided himself of never, I watched the whole interview. He prided himself of never asking his brother for anything because he asked his brother something for about 5 times in his whole life, and his brothers always said no. So his brother when he seen his brother one day, he was like, "Oh, listen, basically, I got a part for you in one of the movies or whatever." Tony was waiting for the details. Chris said, "I'm going to send over the details for you." He didn't find out more about the movie until one of the ladies that worked on the set was like, "Hey, where you at? We at the rap party." Like, the rap party for what? It's for the movie that he was supposed to be in. People, I guess, was asking why he didn't call. Chris was like, "You're my brother, and you called me. You told me. I didn't ask you for this. You told me you had something for me." And he said I crushed him. The movie Top 5, it hurt him to not be a part of that. And also Death at a Funeral, where that was with Martin. And Aries was talking about, how do you not have his brother play his brother? Martin doesn't look like Chris. Now, what Tony did say is he believes that Chris moved when it comes down to business. So like with Death of the Funeral, because Martin clearly is the bigger draw, that's clearly who he will go with. Now, Tony said he felt like he could have played Columbus short part, honestly. And then Aries was like, "All right, I understand the bigger draw, but what numbers did that movie do?" So it's a lot to unpack here. So first of all, let's talk about the fact that Tony has acknowledged that it does hurt him. And I think he tried to rationalize why maybe Chris doesn't help him with roles and stuff like that. I have an issue with the lack of nepotism. I don't have a problem with nepotism. I think nepotism is needed. I think people look at nepotism as someone being lazy and just something's given to you. You can be given the ball. You can still fumble it. You still gotta work. You still gotta work hard. And a lot of times older people too, grow up in a space where I worked hard to get it. You got to figure it out on your own. I understand that to a certain degree. Tony said they have a cool relationship. They're not. There's no beef there. Because my only thing is, I don't understand family. If we're beefing, like my family, we're beefing. I don't fool out loud with my daddy's side of family, and I don't really talk to my mom's side of family either. So really can't nobody really ask me for shit. That's because there's beef there. Okay? Well, on my daddy's side of family, there's beef there. Okay? Y'all can't ask me for when you are in a position to be able to help and there's no beef or anything like that. What is the issue now? Some people was in the comments I've seen and they were saying how Tony is not really that funny. Like one guy did this whole dissertation in the comments I think on the YouTube video, and he was just saying how he's not funny. You know, maybe that's why Chris knows that he's not that great. He's good with podcasting, but it doesn't seem like he's that funny and whatever like that. Here's my thing. I work in the movie industry here in Detroit. You know, Detroit is Tubi capital right now. And I'm a trained actress, so I'm not like the others. Period. I never understand. They hire the same people over and over and over. So my thing has always been, if I know you and you know my resume, you know I work. I don't understand when sometimes they be like, oh, well, we couldn't find a part for you. Hell, I could have been a nurse. I can't be the secretary. Like, you guys are not writing the most complex characters for these stories that I can't play. So when I hear, oh, we haven't found the right part for you. However, though, it's nothing to have somebody be a part of the film, even if it's not a main character. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm saying that to say, I don't understand why there's never been a time where Chris couldn't have Tony be a part of, you know, his projects. It may not be like a major part, but Tony is funny. And he's funny. And even if you don't think he's funny enough to have a couple of lines. You know what I'm saying? I wonder, do Chris ever, you know, has he ever referred Tony to anything? You have all these connections. It has to be hard to be the little brother coming up under a famous big brother, but having to make it on your own. And it's not that Tony had a problem with doing so, but it says a lot. And a lot of people said the Wayans would never. Now here's the thing. Yes, the Wayans do look out for each other, but they all had to work hard. But this is that instance that I was talking about earlier, where yes, there may be nepotism, but you still have to work. And so, like, Marla and Sean still had to work their way. They had to prove themselves. Right now at Papa's house, Damon and his son, Damon Jr., they got about 12, 13, 14. It's a lot of them over there. You got Kim, showrunner. You got, like, everybody has a part over there. It's been like that for years. But everybody also show up and they show that they work. They work hard. So there is a support system there. I'm pretty sure if Tony was lazy, then it's just like, Now, Tony had mentioned how he was the brother when he was little. Like, there's another brother. There's a brother who doesn't do anything at all bad ever. So if anybody ever said that he's in trouble, it's like, oh no, that has to be wrong because we know he doesn't do anything ever. Where Tony is the brother was like, oh hell, what he done did. Like, you know he did something. But then Tony was like, at the same time, maybe he thought that, you know, I would mess something up for him, but I've been doing this for 25 years now, well over 25 years. What more do you need to see that I'm serious about it and I'm not like that, you know? And so I do think that's very, very sad. Aries could not understand it. Tony was coming from a perspective like, hey, we can't sit around being bitter about this. I have to make my own way. It is what it is. I still love my brother. Aries is still in a bitter space about Hollywood. So I do understand where he's coming from because he's just like, I just don't understand. And I think that he told Tony that he thinks he's funnier than Chris. I actually enjoy Tony a little more than Chris. That's just me. I like Chris in movies. I wonder, is Chris one of those people that feel like, you know, Tony would outshine him? I'm not. So, I mean, and this is why I say that, you guys. Everybody hates Chris. Everybody hates Chris. The character Drew, the younger brother, we know that's based off of Tony. So Chris, wrote a show based off of, you know, your brother, and you didn't even have him. I don't even think Tony had a role in Everybody Hates Chris. I don't even think he had a role on that. Let me go on his IMDb credits to see. He had to have a role on there somewhere, right? Okay. He was in 6 episodes. Okay. 6 episodes is cute. The least you can do, nigga, you blow the whole show off of me. Tony refers to Will Smith as Will Bitch Ass Smith. Clearly, we all know why. Because Will smacked the fire out of Chris Rock. Oh, wow. At the Oscars. We can never forget that. I just want you all to know that Will Smith is my godfather in my mind. Okay? So, it's going to be a little biased here. No, for real, I'm not about to be biased. What's interesting is that when the incident happened, of course, everybody was calling up Tony, and everybody was looking to see what Tony says. Tony was still doing stand-up, so he was doing that in interviews that he was speaking on, like, you gonna hit my brother? Now, the connection, if you guys don't realize, Tony Rock, we didn't really know who he was or see him until All of Us. And that is the show that was produced by Will and Jada. That had Dwayne Martin as the lead. Lisa Ray played was supposed to be Sheree, which is Will's ex-wife, and Elise Neal was supposed to be like the Jada character. So the show was basically about, you know, leaving one marriage and going into another one, and then the co-parenting and all of that. And Tony Rock played the best friend. Tony Rock was really good on that show. Now, I heard that it was a few times All of Us almost got canceled and Chris Rock helped. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is. Will Smith gave him a job, and is part of the reason why we know who Tony Rock is. I understand. That is your brother. So that got to be tough with people that you had a good relationship with, but then Will and your brother had that incident, or Will smacked your brother. I feel like Tony was going around press, interviews, stage, whatever, and just letting the world know what he wanted to do to Will and how he felt about it. But is it possible that Tony is still seeking some type of validation and recognition and acceptance from Chris by doing that? I still feel like he is still looking for that stamp of approval. I can tell by the way that he talks about his brother. People will be like, well, it must be something that Tony's not saying. Maybe, you know, you never know. Here's the thing, you do not have to help your siblings. You don't have to. No, you don't have to. It just sucks and it's sad. Where it's like you got somebody that's in there. I cannot wait until I'm in a position, even now, in the position that I am in, which is not maybe the highest and the most grand position, but I still have a great position where I'm helping. My movie, What About Your Friends, coming out, is not under my own production company. So Lord knows everybody and their mama hitting me up and, put me on the movie. Y'all know damn well I don't have no control over casting. I'm not the one that's putting up the money. It's just my script. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time, child. Anyway, I was able to get my goddaughter in it. It's her first movie. She plays my daughter. My homegirl I've been acting with since I started my career over 10 years now. I was able to get her in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to make suggestions, and I'm starting my own thing now, and I'll be able to pull all the people that I feel deserve, that I know that I've seen that's been working hard and in the business for years, deserve to have that shine on them. And anybody around me that wants to be a part. My best friend does makeup, so hey, if that's what he wants to do, makeup on the set. Or I'm always referring people to. I am not stingy. I want to help. When I had my podcast, Lux Talk Podcast, I had that for like 5 years. Anytime anybody come to me with any advice, I'm giving them the game. I'm telling them where to go. I want everybody to win. But you know what? Some people do have that. They got to figure out on their own. This is my thing. You have to figure out your thing. Damon Wayans talked about years ago when he left SNL and he got on, he went to Live in Color. And they was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And he was like, Keena let it be known. Hey, you can work for here, but this is Ivory Way. I think it was named with the production company, Ivory Way or something. This is King Ivory thing. This is my stuff. So I'm the captain of the shit. Y'all work for me. Which was fine, though. Like Damon said, it was fine. That's his thing. He's happy to be a part of it. But some people don't want to share that spotlight. Some people just like, hey, this is my thing only. You need to go over there and figure it out. Some people really just have that. It may not actually be nothing a reason. It's not always the reason why people move a certain way. Or it's a reason that it just doesn't make sense to us. And so with that being said, it is like, it sucks. And it is what it is. I don't think that shouldn't stop you from doing what you got to do. It just really do. I have friends who's super successful, and they know what I do and what I'm trying to do. They ain't reaching back, or they're not trying to help or anything, or point me into the direction where I need to go. And it sucks, but it is what it is. I got to figure it out on my own. And when I figure it out on my own, I'm paying them dust. But I know that how I'm going to move when I do get in a position. And it is something that's very, satisfying when you do make it on your own. Like this YouTube channel. Listen, Detroit movie scene, they got their own thing going on. So I'm going to do my own thing too. So we got our own community over here with Girl Uncensored. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'm building my own thing. I've been doing this consistent for the past couple of months. And we moving really, it's really cute. It's getting really cute. You got to do your own thing. And then you move the way that you want to move. And then the ones who didn't help, they just got to sit back and watch. It is what it is. It sucks when you have a brother that is like one of the top. He doesn't help at all. That's different. I don't know what to say about that. It sucks, but it is what it is, I guess. What do y'all think about that? How do y'all feel about nepotism? Baby, I want all my godchildren to use me, okay? I ain't working this hard for nothing. I don't have children. And I don't know if I'm going to have them. So in the meantime, anything that I'm doing is going to be passed down to my godkids. Probably the oldest one, because she's the one that's like really into, she's like my mini me. So hopefully she follows in her TT footsteps. But like, I will use me. Use my name, baby, please. I wish I had a rich auntie. Or a rich uncle, or my parents. Oh my goodness! But let me say something. A nepo baby is equivalent to it being spoiled. And when you are a spoiled child, like me, I was spoiled growing up. So people assume that I expect things to be handed to me and I don't work hard. When actually that's the furthest from the truth. You know what I'm saying? Even though I grew up spoiled, my childhood doesn't match my adulthood at all. The way I grew up, my childhood was wonderful. So there's no rhyme or reason why I ended up homeless at one point in time and had nowhere to go, absolutely nowhere. And my family treat me like absolute trash, no shade. But that's just what it is. And that's what it was. However, I worked. I've always had a job. Even when I was spoiled and I know my grandma would help me out or X, Y, and Z, I've always worked. I did not want to give anybody a reason to say that I'm just sitting around at home not doing nothing. Like, I may have grew up spoiled, so now I have that title on me of a spoiled brat, but I wasn't one that just didn't work for anything. Kept me a job. I ain't never without no income. And when I was put out on my ass out by myself, guess who had to figure it out? Me. So it is very gratifying when you go through something like that and then you rise above the ashes. And I would never be in a position where somebody could put me out. I would never be in a position of where I don't have anywhere to go. Everything that I don't have nobody hand in anything. Nobody co-signing nothing for me. Nothing. And it is gratifying. It's also sad, though, that you had to go through that. Like, I get upset now, where I'm just like, damn, my family had never had to go through that. They never had to live hotel to hotel. Like, they never had to do that. Why did I have to go through that? But, it unlocked the hustle in me that I didn't know it was there. And that hustle is taking me where I need to go. And it's no shade to the ones that's watching. No shade. It is what it just sucks. But I wish I had somebody. Okay, hand, please help. Tony, he says that he hold out hope that they're gonna do something together. And honestly, I think you should let that go. And also, I think you're a little in denial. I feel like this. If you're mad about it and you heard about it, it's okay. And you need to be honest about it. This gonna sound real negative, and I'm a positive person for the most part. But I'm gonna tell you something. I feel like sometimes you can be too positive. And what I mean by that is clearly Chris, like that example that I gave earlier, he played in his face. Oh, he's dangling it. Like, oh wow, he think this is about to be his big break with his brother. And he played him. You told that man that I got a part for you. And he went on and did the movie without him. He would be right to be upset to this day. People try to take the high road or whatever. When no, I think you should sit in it and feel it. It hurts. It sucks. I am a strong believer in you need to feel that before you can move forward. I remember when I was younger, I would take accountability for things that was not my fault. Because I'm like, all right, this happened to me, but I can't let that hinder me in my future. So I'm going to have to make sure that I still move in this world, even though this happened to me and this is hindering me in certain ways, but I can't let it, stop me. I have to overcome it. However, everything is not your fault and everything is not on you. So the people who wronged you, wronged you. You can't take accountability for everything. We live in a fucked up world and fucked up shit just happened. You're going to get fucked one way or another, the front end or the back end. However, acknowledge what it is. No, they were wrong. Point blank, period. You don't have to harp on it. However, acknowledge that, no, they were wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that. You still have to make a way for yourself in the end. But please understand that they wasn't shit. Okay? And you don't need to let them feel better or good about themselves. No. You ain't shit. Simple. Chris ain't shit for that. Tony, you out here calling Will a bitch. Here's my last thing. It's kind of like, yeah, I get it. That's your brother. He slapped your brother. But it's like, this is the brother that you're going hard for. The one that played in your face constantly. Constantly plays in your face. Doesn't even throw you a bone. Is family that deep and that important? I don't know. I find myself closer with non-related people than related people. So, I don't know, y'all. But at the end of the day, that's family stuff. They both got more money than me. That's all I got to say. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Do y'all think Chris Rock is wrong for not hiring his brother? How do y'all feel about Eddie Murphy all these years not really putting his brother on? What do you think? You think Tony shouldn't have bit the hand that fed him, i.e. Will Smith, and could have just kept it mutual? I think if he would... Child, I don't know what I think, child. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's still getting residual checks from all of us, too. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. Please like and subscribe with Girl Uncensored. It's your girl, Cecily, and I'm out.